Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sagar Prajapati and this video will be talking about how we can create a mount point of ADLS Gen 2 in Databricks. So first of all, I would like to introduce my channel Geekcoders. There I upload videos on Azuredatafactory, Azure Databricks, SQL and Python, and I have created a playlist of Databricks and pyspark. You can see over here I have uploaded 67 videos till now. I started from the scratch only, and I covered all the basic topics as well as the intermediate topics also I have covered. You can see the last video is on with columns in Apache Spark. This is the latest video what I uploaded till now. So if you haven't watched these videos, please go and watch all these videos. Here I uploaded some technical or logical stuff, like how you can create a utility frameworks and all. So please do not skip these videos and watch it out, and then let's start this video. So now for this video, what I have done so far, I created this Databricks environment, Databricks workspace I have created a Keyvault, and I created this storage account also. Now we'll see what is the process to create a mount point. So you can see the steps will be like: create a scope in Databricks. Okay, then we will create a new SPN using app registration. What does SPN is? The client ID, we can say, or the application ID, which will use for the authentication purpose. Store the credentials in Keyvault. Whatever credentials or ID password we are generating in this step, we will store in our Keyvault. Okay, then we will read the credentials from the Keyvault. Then we will grant access to SPNs in ADLS to read the data or write the data, and then we will create a mount point, and then we will try to read the data or file from the ADLS using the mount points, and same we can do, but the write operation we will do. Okay, now we'll see how we can do that. So if I open my Databricks notebook, then you can see I have written some configuration over here, and you can see here that I used here Keyvault things, not Keyvault, you can see here I used here scope thing, right? And I passed here keys also. So first, what is the first step to create the scope? So how we can do that? With the help of this URL we can create the scope. Okay, so the URL the URL is my Databricks URL, and then I have to append this two words. Okay, so I'll go here and I'll remove everything from my Databricks URL and paste this. Now enter it, then you can see this window pop up. Now here I have to define my secret scope name. So I'll just write here Geekcoders 4 secrets. It is up to you, whatever name you want to give, you can give here. Now this has to be creator only, and then we have DNS name and resource ID. So from where I can get this DNS name and resource ID? So if you open your Keyvault, which needs to be sync or needs to be linked with the Databricks, and just go to this properties option, and here you can find it out. So I'll just copy this and paste in the DNS name. Cool. Likewise, if I go back and if I copy this resource ID option or the value and paste it over here, then it is able, now I am able to create my scope. Just copy the scope name, because it is very very important, and just go back here and I'll just save it for my reference. Okay, cool. Now second step is create new SPN using app registration. So I'll go back to here in my app registration. You can search this app registration in the portal also to get this SPN. So just click on it, click on plus new registration. You can give some name, let's say I am giving here ADLS 4. Okay, and click on register button. Now once it is done, then you can see we have this app ID, we have this directory, or we can say tenant ID, and now we have to create Now we have to create the secret also. Like we have ID, we do not have a password, so we can create from this option certificates and secret. Cool. So let's just click on plus new client option and give some name. Let's say I'm giving here Databricks, and here you can also select how many days you want to have, or you want to keep your password. So if I select here 6 months, then 6 months the password will be same, and then the password will expire after 6 months, and again you need to recreate your secret or password. Okay, just click here and then make sure that you copy the secret and store it somewhere for a temporary purpose. So right now I am just storing for a temporary purpose, and from here, from the overview page, I can get the app ID. Okay, I can get the app ID, and then I can get the tenant ID also. Cool. Now this is done. Now if I go back to my notepad, yeah, you can see the third step is store the credentials in Keyvault. So I need to store the credentials in my Keyvault. So what I will do, let me go to my notebook. Okay, and here if you can see that I have given some secrets over here. I just given some secrets over here. So what I need to do is that I need to keep the values with this name. Okay, like I just have to copy it and go to here, sorry, go to the secrets option, generate it, paste the name and paste the value. So here data client ID is nothing but the application ID, or we can also call it SPN. So I can copy this SPN and paste it over here, create it. Likewise I will do for secret also. Data client secret, go back here, plus button, paste it, go to the notepad or OneNote and copy the secret value. See, in Keyvault we store our secrets or our credentials. We cannot expose to everyone, otherwise anyone can do anything with your product. That's why for the security purpose we use Keyvault. And likewise I'll do for this data client URL. So just go back to here, paste it over here, and then this is my tenant ID, correct? And you can see over here that I written something as https microsoftonline.com tenant ID. So here I have to replace the tenant ID with my original tenant ID, and then I can paste this. So why it is not pasting it? Copy it and now paste it. No, it's not happening. Okay, let me just copy it and paste it somewhere. Okay, without keep testing much. And copy this and now try to paste it over here. Okay, it is not happening. Just a minute. Yeah, now you can see that I have prepared this URL also. So just copy it and then go back to my Keyvault and create it. Now if you can see, we have these all three keys, or we can say secrets, we have it, right? And if I open my Databricks also, then you can see that the same thing I have mentioned over here, right? Now I have to write my scope name also. So what I will do, since I have created the scope already, so I just copy the scope name and try to paste it over here. Okay, cool. Now it is done. Then what is the next step? the next step is to read the credentials from Keyvault. Okay, and then we have to grant access to SPNs in ADLS. So since my cluster is getting up, so meanwhile what I can do, I will give the access to my SPN. So what is my SPN? My SPN name is ADLS4. Okay, and now if I go to my Geekcoders this storage account, and if I show you also the container's name, then we have source container and this log container. If I click on the source container, then I have one directory, or we can say one folder. Inside it we have two files and one another folder called data2, and in data2 we have one file. Okay, now if I go back to my source folder only, and here you can see there is a option of IAM and access policy. So if I click on this access policy, yeah, if I click on this access policy, then you can see here like these two options are coming, and if I go to this manage ACLs option, then you can see that I can access, like I can give the access, read, write and execute whatever you want to give. So if I click on this add principal, and if I add my service principal, or we can say my app ID, and I just select this, and I can provide here the access. Like right now I just want to give only read access. Okay, I just want to give the read access, then we'll see whether I can able to do that or not. Okay, so I just saved it over here, and then I hope that the cluster is up now. So as I told you that I will try to read my credentials from the Keyvault, right? So if I write this here for I in this, and if I try to just print I comma end of this, and you can see that I can able to read my credentials, right? So it means that like we are good as of now. Cool. Now what we will do, we will create a mount point, right? So this is the step where we have to create the mount point. So let's see how we can do that. So I go to my notebook, and before that I would like to tell you the mount points, like what does it mean. So mount point, it's like there are 4-5 functions. Okay, first function is mounts the given source directory into DBFS at the given mount point. Mounts means display information about what is mounted within DBFS. Then we have refresh mounts, forces all machines in this cluster to refresh their mount cache, ensuring they receive the most recent information. Then we have unmount. So what does it mean? That delete a DBFS mount point. And then we have update mount, which updates the mount, or we can say update the existing mount point. Okay, now we will write the code over here. So what I can do is that it's simple, a function dbutils dot fs means file system, and then I will use here mount. Okay, the first parameter would be my source, and second parameter would be my mount point, and third parameter would be extra config. Cool. So all these three are here. Now you can see what is the value, what will be the value in the source. So in the source I have to pass the location, I have to pass the source location. Let's say I want to pass this container location. Then if I click on this properties, then you can see over here that this is the location I am getting, right? But this I do not, I mean I cannot enter this as a source location. So there is one pattern which I mentioned above. So this is the pattern of the path which we need to add it, right? So just copy it, and I'll just try to paste it over here. Now we have storage account name, right? We have storage account name. Storage account name is what? Storage account, right? So that is Geekcoders source. Cool. So I'll just, instead of this name, I'll paste it over here. And then what extra things we have? Then we have this source. So source is the container. So instead of this file system name, I will put here source. Now if I go back a little bit, then inside this source I have this data. So what I want to do, I want to create a mount point till data folder. So I can pass here data and copy this. Now go back to, since this is also kind of secret or the confidential things, so I'll try to put this into this ADLS only, not ADLS, Keyvault, right? And I'll just give some name. Let's say I'm giving here URL, not URL, ADLS URL, something like that, and just create it. And since I have stored this information into my Keyvault, so I'll just try to get it. I'll just try to get it from this dbutils.secret.get. So instead of this key, I will write here URL. What's the name? ADLS URL, right? And in mount point, I have to pass the mount point, the name of the mount point. So always we start with MNT to identify whether this is the mount point or not. So I'll just write here MNT, and then let's say I can pass data lake, something like that, data lake. Cool. And in third parameter I can pass this configs, and I'll just try to run this. We'll see whether it's working or not. And now this is the first method, dbutils.fs.mount, to create a mount. Okay. Now I have also mentioned this mounts, right? Unmount, update mount, refresh mount. So to identify or to get the information of the mount points, I can use this mounts also, right? So what I will do, I'll just write here dbutils.fs.mounts. I guess this is only right. Yeah, now you can see all mount points it return. So you can see we have this MNT data lake also. MNT data lake mount point is here. Now what I will try to do, since I have given the list read option, right? So I can try to read the things. Before going to that, what I will do, I will try to write here dbutils.fs.ls. This is nothing but Databricks utilities dot file system dot list. So I will try to write my mount point, and if I try to do this, I should have the access. Now it is saying that the request is not authorized to perform this operation. Why it is happening? Because there is not a proper permission I have granted. So what I will do, I'll go back to here and go to this IAM, and then here click on add role assignments, then job functions, role. Here I will choose contributor. Okay, I'll choose the contributor, and you can see here this is storage blob contributor. Okay, click on this, go to members, and then I can pass here my SPN name. So my SPN name is ADLS. I think this is only the issue. We'll see. We will figure it out what's happening. We do not need to worry about it. So review it. It's done. Now you can see that we already created the mount point, and if I try to run this, it will again fail, because see, mount point is something that we create one time, right? And now I need to update this mount point, right? So I'll just, instead of dropping it and recreating it, I will try to use this update mount function, and if I try to run this again, we'll see whether it's working or not. Otherwise we will do some other changes also. Cool. Now it is taking some time. Let's see. See, we created the mount point, but we did not granted all the permissions to my mount point to read the access, to read the file. So see, again it is facing the issue. So probably what is the issue over here is that I just I just given the read permission. I did not give the list permission. And what if, okay, I did not give the that permission, right? So if I go back over here, go to source, and if I try to go to this manage ACL again, and if I choose my ADLS 4, and if I try to give this execute option also, and then we'll see it will definitely work it out. Now again I will do the same thing. And I will try to do this dbutils.fs.ls again. Now you can see I can able to read the data. I not read the data, list the data. See, what was the issue? The issue was that I did not granted the required access, right? Like I just given the read permission and I was doing the list thing, right? That's why it got broken, or it thrown an error. So now see, I do not have write access on this SPN, right? And we have read access. Apart from this, what I can do, see, okay, now I will try to read the folders. So you can see over here that I have this CSV file, so I will just try to read it. So it's very small file, so I can write a Python code pyspark .csv, and just this is kind of what we can say. For the demo purpose, I am telling you. I'll just write here option header comma true, and then to load L, and just try to do it. Now it is showing that using delta, but there is no delta. Something is happening. Okay, you are trying to read from dbfs dot this is using delta, but there is no delta file, right? So what I need to do, actually I need to disable this, run this step, and then everything will be correct. Now if I try to read this, then you can see that it will, what's happening, org.fs already existing operation. Yeah, so actually the issue was that I was using here load function. Instead I should have used here CSV. Maybe this is because due to the latest version of Spark. Okay, could be the case. And now you can see I have just loaded this thing, right? I just read it. Now what I will do, I will try to write the data. Write the data into some location. So what I can do, I just write here df.write mode, not mode will be okay, and format will be delta. So I'll just need to write the things into delta format, and then I can pass here the path. So the path will be like this, and instead of this, I will try to create one new folder called data underscore output, and I will write the file here. So let's say I'll just write here delta file, and yep, seems correct. Now it should break actually. Let's see whether it's breaking it not. No, it is reading. Yeah, cool. It is not breaking. And if I do here display of df, then you can see we have this data, right? And if I go back to here and if I go back to here in the source, then you can see you should have created one new one new folder, right? Data output, and then we have data file, and inside this we have data things. Now you might be thinking like, why it did not get failed? Actually what happened, I created the mount point with the right permission. So as of now, if I go to here, if I go to this manage ACL options, then you can see that I did not give the right permissions, right? And let me update this mount point also, and we'll see whether I am able to do it or not. Okay, meanwhile it is running. Apart from this, what I have done, what I have told you, that I will try to unmount the mount point and refresh the mounts also, right? Now you can see it is saying that cannot write to already existing path, this override. Okay, I need to use here override option, so I can write here mode and override. Cool. Now you can see it is saving into this location. Now if you can see, I just ran this, and then you can see this is happening, like the request is not authorized to perform this operation using this 403 error. Okay, but it is failing in the read access things, right? Yeah, now if you can see that I am able to write it down into this location. Now what I can do is that I can also unmount this mount point. So how can I do? I can simply write here dbutils.fs.unmount. okay, unmount, and then you can do it. So like pass here the mount point. So mount point is this. Cool. So I'll just write it down here and try to run this. Cool. So like it is gonna delete my mount point, and then I cannot able to work with this location. So now what I will do, I will try to again create this. Not, I mean, I should use here mount instead of mnt, right? So if I just try to run this, then it will run, right? Now you can see here with the help. Now if I try to run this again, like if I try to run this cmd2 again, then it will again break it. Okay, it will again break it. Why? Because it will say that this mount point is already present. Then how can I restrict it? How can I restrict it? The question arises, how can I see? If I run it again, then this command will break. It is saying that directory already mounted. So you can see we have this function, right? So if I do like this for I in dbutils.fs.mounts, and if I try to print here i.mount, right, i.mount point, then what it will throw? It will throw me the mount points. Right, it will throw me the mount point, right? So why can't I do something like with the help of this? So what I can do, I can simply write here if not any I dot mount point. Okay, I dot mount point, and then I can write like mount point is equal to my mount point, my underscore mount point. Okay, my underscore mount point, and then I can just write here for I in this something like this. Cool. And I'll just put here one more bracket. Everything seems correct, right? If not, I can write here if not any mount, mount dot I dot mount point is equal to this. Okay, I have to remove this, and seems correct. Copy this and try to paste it over here. Okay, if If this, then I will execute this, right? And I'll just pass here MountPoint name. So let me give this name, and instead of the value, I'll pass here the variable. Cool. And if I just run this, then it will not break. It's saying like, it's already present, then it will go to the else part. So with the help of this, you can secure your code by failing, right? So I hope like you have understood this concept, and like if you are liking my videos, please do watch it out completely and share with your friends, and I hope you are doing very well. And till then, bye bye.